Greetings and star blessings and Venus blessings. I decided to play that music for an introduction because I love the words. Release yourself. Release yourself to the unknown. Be totally free. How many can say that they actually do that? Anyway, I just wanted to say one thing, two things actually. One thing about Venus, of course, the goddess, and one thing about hello Coco, about my classes that are starting next month. So let's talk about Venus first. Now, let me share my screen. And for the purposes of what I'm going to show today, I'm using Placidus 7, which is Roman Kolev's program. And he and I are set to come and do a YouTube video in August, actually. So that's going to be very exciting. He and I will talk about Venus in ancient astrology, Babylonian astrology. And he really is, oh, well, you know, he's quite a master, really, at what he knows, what he understands. I mean, he's developed this whole program, for crying out loud. A program that shows you myriad of things, actually, but one thing specifically that I'm very interested in relative to Venus and the whole journey of her phases, her heliacal phases, her invisibility and visibility, which are very, very crucial aspects of Venus. You can look at that in so many different ways. You can look at that from the point of view of, was Venus visible when you were born? Was she invisible? It means totally different things if she was or if she wasn't. It's different for men, it's different for women. Where does Venus appear when she becomes the morning star next month in Leo? Where does she appear in your chart? Where does she disappear? There's a lot of different elements to this, and I'm discovering the magic of it all. And I'm so excited about it. I will be teaching a lot of this as well in my own course. That component will not come till next year, but I will talk about it with Roman, who really is an expert on all of that, just in a few weeks' time, actually. However, what I wanted to show you guys today, so here is a chart for the present moment. Well, actually, I need to go a day ahead. Let's see. No, that was correct. I was looking at seconds. Okay, so 2023, July 29th. Well, as it is in the Southern Hemisphere. This chart is for Melbourne, Australia. Okay, so this is what a chart looks like with Roman's program. You can see the window here. There's all these things you can add and take out, blah, 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 etc. It's complicated. I'm not going to go there. Really, all I want to show you guys is this. See, that's Venus right there. Little Venus right there. Can I haven't tried this with this program, but I'm sure I'll be able to. Yes, of course. So there's Venus. And as per this chart, she happens to be the L Newton of the chart as well. Anyway, that aside, what I want to share with you guys, which is an astronomical phenomena that I wasn't aware of until I listened to a 5-hour webinar in Venus about Venus in ancient astrology, etc., that Rumen has given to me. And it's a fantastic webinar, I might add, but he and I will talk about that when we get together. Anyway, the point is, what I learned is that Venus at various times in various latitudes will never be invisible. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, okay, didn't even know that is important, or didn't realize that happens or doesn't happen, or whatever the case may be. The fact of the matter is that when Venus is conjunct the Sun, she is generally known to be invisible, right? Because she's right there conjunct the Sun. You cannot see her. The Sun's beams cast, the light, and Venus becomes invisible, so to speak, which is the case for most of the time. However, what I've discovered is that there are certain occasions, certain latitudes, as I said a moment ago, where she will never be invisible, which is quite a remarkable phenomena, and actually speaks volumes from a spiritual, symbolic level, and also from a physical level in terms of what that means for Venus and her manifestations, either as a morning or an evening star phase, when this particular phenomena occurs. Now, it happens to occur in Melbourne, Australia. So next month, when Venus forms her conjunction with the Sun, the Cassini conjunction, when she kisses the Sun and officially becomes the morning star in Leo, she will actually not be invisible in Melbourne. Now, I only know about Melbourne. There may be other places that that is the case also, and I'm not sure about that, but I am absolutely certain about Melbourne, and I'll actually show you. So in this program here with Rumen's chart, what happens is when a planet goes invisible, and it can be any planet, he's created the program in such a way that when a planet becomes invisible, it fades out into the color gray. And that's how you can distinguish just visually by seeing it. So that is a fact, right? I've tested it, and it's this program, and it's incredible. So there's no doubt about it. Now, let me just grab this. Okay. So you can see here July 29th. Now I'm just going to animate a chart. So I'm going to step forward, right? Day at a time. So one day, there's the 30th. Now I'm going to skip fast and get to the 13th of August, okay? To essentially get us to the date of the star point, the conjunction between the Sun and Venus. There it is there, August 13th. Now, here is the Sun. There's the symbol of the Sun right there. And there's Venus. Can you see she's blue? Blue. She's not gray. And so that's showing us that she's visible. Okay. Now, if we so she's in the 9th house over here. So we need to kind of change the time. So how do I do that here? Okay. So let's go hours, and let's fast forward. to get her on the horizon. Pardon me. Which is, yeah, okay, right there. Now, what you can see is the sun is below the horizon, or just preparing to go below the horizon. Not quite there yet, so let me just go one more hour. There we go. These lines here, these swervy lines, these are actually the ascendant, descendant, okay? Because the settings for this particular chart are for the fixed Babylonian zodiac. We can change that to the equinox, so tropical zodiac. So let's just do that. Which just, it changes things, obviously, because the sidereal zodiac, which is the Babylonian, is different to the tropical zodiac. In any case, what we really are looking at here is Venus, Sun conjunction. Can you see them there at 21 degrees? There they are. There's the R for the retrograde, 21 degrees. That's Venus. That's the Sun. Venus is actually visible. Now, let me just go back minutes. Yeah, that'll do. Yeah, sorry, a bit slow. I just want to get her and the sun just right on the descendant. Hence the fiddling. Okay, look, that's close enough. That'll do. Really, all I'm trying to demonstrate here is that the Sun-Venus conjunction, 13th of August, is not going to be invisible in Melbourne. Now, that's an astronomical phenomena that occurs at different times throughout the different cycles of Venus and in certain latitudes. I don't understand the logic behind it. I'm not sure that there is logic behind it. It's just an astronomical phenomena. Now, why is this significant? It's significant because when Venus goes invisible, it is said that she dies. There's a symbolic, metaphoric story, archetypal story to how she manifests and what she brings because of her journey through her disappearance. So when she disappears, it's the underworld journey, right? It's the journey of her going into the underworld and meeting her sister, Ereshkigal. And through that process, she has to go through 7 gates. And there's a lot of detailed information within that story, which is Inanna, Ishtar, from Babylonian astrology. That's Venus. Venus is Inanna, right? So the fact that she's not invisible at different times in different latitudes is saying that, well, from the point of view of her becoming a morning star on the 13th of August and being visible throughout that whole time in Melbourne, right? It's not the case in the Northern Hemisphere, talking Southern Hemisphere. For a start, she's extremely powerful in the sign of Leo. In Babylonian astrology, Leo is like an exalted position for Venus. So she holds tremendous power as a morning star in Leo and doesn't actually go invisible. So people, I guess, who live in the Southern Hemisphere or were born in the Southern Hemisphere, specifically Melbourne, will experience something so incredibly powerful with this Venus morning star. that's coming up very soon. Main thing that I wanted to demonstrate today is the fact that she just does not go invisible. Let me just clear those lines, because I just want to check something quickly. Okay, so this grid here that I've just brought up is the program that Rumen has set, in that it builds you the 5 Venus star points for an 8-year period relative to her first, second, third, fourth, fifth appearance over an 8-year period, starting from the August 13th, 2023. It's a little bit complex to explain right now, because we'd have to go into quite a few different levels. But essentially what this is showing you is that she is visible August 13th, which is, it just so happens, this is a synchronistic and an astronomical phenomena, that it happens on the August the 13th is her first appearance, which is the actual date of the Sun-Venus conjunction, the Cazimi conjunction. That doesn't happen all the time. It's just, it's phenomenal that it actually does happen. You need to understand, when the Sun and Venus are conjunct, her light or her energy is obscured by the sun's rays, so she's not visible by normal standards. And this is showing us that, in fact, in Melbourne, that is not the case. It's just mind-boggling, right? It's just freaking mind-boggling. Okay, so I wanted to share that, because that's not the only time this happens. It does happen at other times as well, but it just so happens to be happening for this new morning star that will be born August the 13th. Also, I just wanted to say, my astrology classes start next month. They start on the 25th of August, for any of you wondering or curious. Many people have emailed me expressing interest. Many people have emailed me expressing interest and saying, I wish I had the money, I'd love to do it, I can't do it right now, and so on and so forth. Everyone has a different reason or different experiences going on in their lives at the moment. I completely understand. I just want to let you know, though, that I've given about 433 videos on YouTube for the last couple of years, last 4 years, I think it's been. A lot of them are on current transits, new moon, full moon, etc. And then there's a very large portion on very specialized topics. So those of you that have been following me for a while understand and know, I think, that well, my style is eclectic, and my abilities and my skills are eclectic. So I work with evolutionary, esoteric, ancient, medieval, psychological, traditional, Hellenistic, the whole bag. It's not very common for astrologers to work with numerous lenses in such a way. I have so much strong Aquarius in my chart, and Uranus actually is very prominently placed in my chart as well. Lots of other different significators which would describe my eclectic nature from an astrological perspective. But in any case, if you were to sit in my classes, what you would discover is that we are not just approaching things from one simple basic level. Even though the first 10-week block covers the fundamentals and essentials of astrology, such as quadruplicities, elements, signs and a few other things, including the relationship between the personality and the soul. My approach to all of that, to the signs, to the relationship between the personality and the soul, etc., incorporates all those various teachings through evolutionary, esoteric, Hellenistic, Babylonian, and so forth. So if you are to join my classes, even if you have, a fairly basic understanding, or even if you have an intermediate understanding, or even to some extent post that, you'll certainly benefit. The first 10-week block is your fundamentals of astrology, right? Well, a big portion of it. So I would say people who are, really experienced perhaps wouldn't need to do the first 10-week block. They certainly wouldn't lose anything if they did. But moving forward next year, when I get into more intermediate classes, let's say, even if you are on an intermediate level, you will benefit greatly simply because of my approach, my style, my experience. And I'm putting this out there because it is a really great opportunity for people to work with me in a small group. Each class will go for a couple of hours. There'll be about a 30-minute session for Q&A as well. It'll all be video recorded. There will be extensive material provided from the point of view of handouts and so forth. Material that I have sat down and written and typed out myself over a long period of time that I've gathered over the years. And most of all, I'll be bringing myself, my heart and soul to it. Those of you who have had a reading with me would know the sort of energy and presence that I bring in that very personal environment or contact. Those of you that follow me on YouTube are also able to observe my energy, the way I share and give, and my style and so forth. So the course that I'm offering, which is going to go probably for about 3 or 4 years, but in 10-week blocks, is, in my opinion, is very, very valuable, extremely valuable. It's gold, actually, because it's a combination and a culmination of my entire life and everything that I've learned and studied and practiced over many, many, many years. So whilst I don't have some fancy website and I don't do YouTube videos that are edited and fancied up and so on and so forth, that really just means jack shit. What does mean something is the quality of what is actually delivered. Anybody can put together a package on a website or whatever it may be and make it look incredibly flashy. It's very easy to copy and paste. Most people do in every stream, actually. Now with the AI business, there's so much, there's so many things going on where people are, just taking things and reproducing as though it's their own. And I mean, that's been going on for a long time, actually, to some extent, or one way or another. But I think the way you know whether somebody who is offering a spectrum of wisdom and education in some kind of way, the way you know their level of authenticity, and of course, indeed, whether you connect to that person or not as well, because you might not know enough about astrology to know whether this person is the real deal. And in fact, most people won't, because a lot of people can mimic and impersonate and copy and paste and regurgitate. And really, if they have somebody in their audience that knows astrology, that person who knows will see right through perhaps the inauthenticity. So what I'm saying is that I am authentic, I am very experienced, and I certainly understand the sacred mother of all science, astrology. So if you have the opportunity to join my classes, I welcome you, and I know you will enjoy them and greatly benefit from every single second. There is no doubt. And yeah, I guess I'll leave it at that, and I will see you guys soon. There's a full moon coming up, isn't there? Very, very soon, couple of days time. I've actually been just working on my classes, even though I had the backbone, so to speak, of this first 10-week block, because I first taught these classes about 20 years ago, the first time. What I've done this time is I've just added a whole bunch of other wisdom and content naturally, because in 20 years' time, I've obviously learned so much more, right? And expanded and evolved. So the last couple of weeks, especially, I've just been pretty much every single day sitting down and working on each class with different concepts, principles, techniques, ideas, and so forth. And I'm loving it. I'm very dedicated to it, and I'm really looking forward to sharing it. So reach out if you're interested, or if you have any questions. What I'm offering is a lot more than what you probably realize. Okay, I'll see you guys soon for the full moon. Much love and star blessings and Venus blessings. And Venus is not invisible in Melbourne. That's for me. She's very powerful for me because she's actually aligned in my 7th house. Woohoo! Angular house. So I'm pretty excited. Okay, see you guys soon. Sending you all so much love, and hope you have engaged with Venus descending into the underworld. This is like a mini shamanic little journey into the underworld for Venus going retrograde. As I've explained in my most recent video, the longer journey of Venus in the underworld is when she's on the other side as the evening star in that long duration of her journey as an evening star, and through her long journey of disappearance as well. And the fact is, she's not even disappearing here in Melbourne. I love that. Anyway, see you guys soon. Much love.